Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be comparing the 2019 Ford Expedition to the 2019 Lincoln Navigator. Obviously, you guys kind of know roughly what the price difference is. We'll go over that momentarily, but as always, we're going to do a quick walk around. We're going to go from vehicle to vehicle in the video. Then we're going to sum things up with my overall thoughts on which one you should go for. As always, a big shout out and thank you to Larry H. Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo, Utah, for providing us with both the Expedition and the Navigator. Check out their inventory in the link below if you're in the market for a Ford or a Lincoln. Let's go into the hoods of both the Navigator and then the Expedition. Let's start with the Expedition over here. So under the hood here we have a twin turbocharged 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. In terms of power outputs, the higher output version of this is 400 horsepower and then 480 pound-feet of torque. In terms of fuel economy, it's 16 around town and then 21 on the highway. Now over to the Navigator, we have the same 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, again 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is also identical, 16 around town, 21 on the highway. However, power figures are different with 450 horsepower and then 500 pound-feet of torque. So pretty much the exact same figures as the Ford Raptor. The Raptor has a little bit more power, but I mean this basically same exact setup as a Raptor, which is pretty cool. So let's go over front end things on the Navigator and then also on the Expedition. Let's go over the Expedition first and foremost. So you can see that this is actually the limited stealth package. So blacked out badging, you're gonna have body colored front bumper, everything. They kind of take out a lot of the chrome elements here on the limited stealth package. I love these little kind of lines that they do on the hood, and it goes really well with this white paint because it kind of, the creases just make it so that you can kind of see it from different angles of light basically. But if you've popped in here, you can see that it's got full LED accent lights that wrap around with the LED headlights. Fog lamps are just down below, and then you've got your parking sensors that are all integrated into the bumper right across here. Tow hooks as well on top of that. You can kind of just see the whole front end, very large and menacing. Coming over to the Navigator, you can see that everything's a little bit more rounded off, especially compared to the Expedition. You can kind of see the stylistic differences. So notice that they've got lines in different places on the hood, and again everything is more rounded off here in the Navigator. And then the whole headlight setup's different, so you still get the accent LEDs, but you can see you've got projector LEDs there, and then that's actually a little turn signal. I think that's really cool how it looks really clean in general. And then you can see parking sensors down below, and then massive grille with the Lincoln logo front and center. But you can just see how large the grille is. I mean, just compare the size between the two. It is absolutely insane. Now here is the tire and rim setup. They're actually identical, it's just the styling on the rims is different. So 285mm tires, 22-inch rims. 285mm tires, 22-inch rims. But you can kind of see the stylistic differences, so they've kind of gone like blacked out accents. They do have some silver inserts on the rims, which looks really good. Ford logo obviously in the center, Lincoln logo in the center of that, but you can kind of see just the stylistic differences. I do prefer the rims on the Lincoln, even though I generally like blacked out things like that. I just like how they've done that design and how it kind of is like little fan blades essentially. It looks really, really cool. Now we're gonna head out back in just a second, but you can see Navigator badging on the side, but you can kind of see the whole side profile of both of them. And this has, again, a chrome strip that goes along the side, whereas this just kind of has black on the bottom of it. But now let's head out to the back. So here's the key fob for the Expedition. You can see it's got the Ford logo on the back. You got a couple functions, your lock and unlock, remote start and tailgate release. So if we lock it and then you press that down, that'll remote start it. Not the loudest, but you can hear that 3.5 liter EcoBoost, and then you press that again and that'll shut it off. And then if we press that button, that'll actually open up the rear hatch. And now that the hatch is open, we can actually head into the back here. So you can see that you've got a decent amount of cargo space back here. And this one is the regular wheelbase, so you can get the extended wheelbase to get a little bit more storage space in the rear if you want. But you can see that you can fold down all the seats with these little controls. So for example, I can press that and that lower down the seat right there. Or I can press this and then that'll lower down the seat right there. Or if I press it again, it'll raise the seat back up. Really neat. And then you can see that you've got a little bit of extra storage under this area. You use that for whatever you want. And then finally, to shut the tailgate, it's just this button right here. So press that and then the tailgate will lower back down. Here's the key fob for the Navigator. So you can see that you've got same functions, lock and unlock, remote start, and the tailgate release. So if we lock it and then press this twice, it'll start right up. Sounds identical. press it again and it'll shut it off, and then we can raise the tailgate on the Navigator. And you can see everything. These seats are reclined back a little bit just so you guys can kind of see that. But you can do the same thing with all the rows with lowering them down. So for example, I can lower that down, or if I want, I can lower this row down or bring it back up. You can see we've got a bunch of floor mats here, and then you can see that it's got that same little storage cubby just underneath. And then you can see the tailgate lowering down is actually in the exact same place, so you can lower that right down. So in the rear, stylistically, this is where it's going to be the most similar, and I just realized I'm pretty sure that actually is an extended wheelbase because I have these parked nose to nose, and you can see that one goes back further, so that probably is an extended wheelbase. Anyways, but you can see like the whole boxy design in the rear is pretty much the same between the two. Now the difference is going to be the lighting. So you can see that you got this massive light bar on the Lincoln. Obviously has the Lincoln badging, tow package down below with all the parking sensors right there, but it still has that kind of boxy design. And you go over to the Expedition, it's the same story, but you can see that the taillights are completely different. It's got these like massive LEDs. It is the bigger size. It says Max on the back. Sorry guys. Anyways, Expedition, limited, everything's all blacked out because it's a limited stealth, and then you can see you got parking sensors, tow packages right under there. But I'll step back again so you guys can kind of see that this is probably the angle where these look the most similar, obviously other than the lighting elements, just the overall shape of the vehicles though. So I'm trying to manage both key fobs here so I can show this to you. So you unlock the Ford, right, the power mirror pops out, and then when you unlock the Lincoln, you can see the running board pops out. So they do two completely different things. Back here on the Lincoln, you actually have keyless entry for the rear. So you can press that to lock it, and then you just put your hand on the back of the door handle and that'll unlock it. And if we open up this door in the rear, you can see you've got some leather up here with the stitching, more padding down here. You can see one of the speakers for the sound system. They have this nice wood trim back here, and they've got like this black accenting right here. I love the design on the speakers here in the Navigator. They look very, very premium. And then you feel the seats. So the leather on these seats feels very, very soft to the touch. They've got some nice perforations in them. This one has the bench layout. You can get captain chairs if you want, and you can see kind of back into the third row right there. So you've got 3 seats there, 3 seats here, and 2 up front. So quite a bit of seats in general, 8 total. And then so you've got some charging stations just down here in this little area. You can press that out. That's some little cup holders. And then this is kind of like your rear media center, but then it also doubles as the climate controls for the rear, since this does have 3 climate zones, 2 for the front and then 1 in the rear. Coming over to the Expedition, it has that same keyless entry, so 1 touch to lock it or unlock it. And then opening this up, you can see that it's got that same kind of padding, but this has the red contrasted stitching, kind of the sportier look that comes with this limited stealth. More padding here on the door. And then you can see it has just as many speakers for the sound system, but you can kind of see definitely the design difference that they're going for. And then looking at the seats, you can see the leather's not nearly as soft as what is in the Navigator. This one also has a bench seat, so 3, 3, 2, 8 again total. And then you can see the whole charging station / media center. So you have pretty much a similar functionality with the climate controls and all that. You still got the heated seats, everything back here. Just the whole setup looks a little bit different. And the cup holders are up here instead of pressing a little tab to have them pop down. Up front of the Expedition, 1 touch to lock it. You can see the mirrors will power fold in. Then if I put my hand on the back of the door handle, mirrors will power fold back out and it'll unlock. And then the running boards will pop right out. You can see this door panel here looks identical to the one in the rear, so same red contrasted stitching with the padding. You can see that they do some carbon fiber trim right there. Looks really neat. All of your window controls right here, mirror controls. Memory seat controls your door lock and unlock. A couple more speakers for the sound system in that area. And then if we look at the seats here in the front, you can see obviously that they are fully power adjustable on the seats. We can see the overall design on the seats. Tons of that little red stitching in them, and again, not as soft as what's in the Navigator, which we'll see that in just a moment. And then you can see the pedal layout just down below at the bottom right there. And then these are your power adjustable pedals right here, your parking brake. All of your light controls are right here, and you can actually see you can fold down the seats from the front. Tailgate release, and then the steering wheel is going to be automated for adjustment. You can see you got that same keyless entry right there to lock it, and then unlock it. Running boards will pop out. And then as we have this fully unlocked, we can see the door panel here in the front is pretty much identical to that one in the rear we just saw in the Navigator. Same leather, and this is a little bit softer than what's in the Expedition. I like how the door handle is set up right there. You can see more of that beautiful wood trim, and then again, remember the speakers, just the design on them looks a lot more premium. Your seat adjustments are on the door actually, so you've got your memory seats and then all of your seat adjustments right here. And I think it's just absolutely crazy all the ways that you can, I mean, you can see all of the different adjustability that you have on the seats. It's just insane. All of your window controls here on the door as well, mirror controls, door lock and unlock. And then you can see these seats here in the Navigator. They look a lot more premium. Again, the leather feels a lot nicer on these, but you can see all of the different adjustments on them, just how they look in general. I love the design on the seats here in the Navigator. They look very, very premium. You can see the pedal layout just down below. Still get the power adjustable pedals, all of your light controls, the tailgate release, fog lights, all that. And then the steering wheel, again, is going to be power adjustable. To start up the Expedition, you just have to put your foot on the brake, push the push start, and then the gauges will do a sweep and everything will start right up. And we're going to start with the steering wheel first and foremost. So you can see all of your volume controls right over here. Voice command controls with the phone controls. These are for your adaptive cruise control, and it also does come with blind spot monitoring, which you can see a little car in the mirror right there. Not the physical car, but the blind spot car. Anyways, more controls here on the steering wheel that'll go with that center screen. It says Ford in the center, red stitching, fully wrapped in leather with this particular steering wheel. And you can see the gauge cluster set up. So RPMs on the left side, on the right side, you've got your speed, and then you have a bunch of different menus that you can scroll through. So you can see it gives you a bunch of different bits of information on it, just like all of Ford's other like fully loaded vehicles with this instrument cluster. So you can see here we've got our hill descent control, stability control right here. That's your lane departure assistance, auto stop start, and then that is for the camera system that'll go with the touchscreen. This does have the whole 360-degree camera system, so you can see that there is a ton of different camera views that you can go through on the Expedition in general. So we've got our Sync 3 system right here. You can see you've got the climate controls on the touchscreen, navigation as well, and then if you go over to the settings tab, and like I said, this screen's pretty responsive in general with the touch time. Have ambient lighting, and I think it's funny because there's 3 different options for blue. There's ice blue, soft blue, and blue. Like, and you get to choose how blue you want it with how soft you want the soft blue, which is kind of funny. Anyways, down here you've got your volume controls, and then this is for the stereo as well, and then your analog climate controls are just down below. Heated and cooled seats come with this, and then you can control the rear climate from the front. So you've got a bunch of storage space up here, so you've got a couple USBs and wireless charging up front. Cup holders right here, and I like kind of how they do like the whole trim setup. It feels and looks really nice in general. Here's your shifter for that 10-speed automatic, which you do have a manual mode, and you can see that that's right here. And then you've got the different drive modes, so you can see that you've got your 2-wheel high, 4-wheel auto, 4-wheel low as well. This is your parallel and perpendicular parking assistance, your parking sensors, and then you've got your drive modes, which will pop up here in the center screen. And so you can see that you've got your normal mode, and then you've got your eco mode, you've got your sport mode, your towing mode, you've got your mud, sand, grass, gravel, snow, normal again. So tons of different driving modes for any type of condition. Now right here's our whole center console again with the red stitching, and if we open this up, you can see that there's a decent amount of storage space in here. This is like an identical setup to what is in the F-150s essentially. And then if we go over to the glove box, you actually do get a dual glove box if I figure out how to work it properly. Anyways, you can see that there's a decent amount of storage, and I'm glad that they gave you storage on the top and on the bottom. More of the red stitching with the leather up top, and the glove box also has leather on the front of it, which is a nice little touch. We've got universal garage door openers up here. We've got a little sunglass holder as well. All of your light controls, and then it is a full panoramic sunroof here in the Expedition, but other than that, they keep things relatively simple up top. Now that we are done going over the whole interior on this Expedition, let's head over to the Navigator to check that out. And look, there's a window sticker. We're in the Navigator. Push button's actually up there, which is neat. You can hear the little Lincoln tone. I think that's pretty neat. Lincoln badge in the center here. Is that gonna stop? There we go. You've got leather around the whole steering wheel, white stitching right here, and then you've got all of your controls. So you've got like your voice command controls right here, volume controls, adaptive cruise control again, all of your phone controls, even a button for navigation. This one does come with the paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel if you want to shift the gears yourself. So you can see this center screen is fully digital, so you can see there's a couple menus you can scroll through on the side, but I mean, compared to what was in the Expedition, I feel like this one in general is a lot more configurable, and I like the look of it. It looks a whole lot cleaner when it's just this big giant screen in the center. Now you can see that we've got the infotainment screen for the Lincoln, and you can see it's kind of similar formatting to the Sync 3 system, especially with the tabs that they have at the bottom, just as responsive. But you can see that you've got all these controls, like, look at this, with the multi-contour seats. Obviously you can adjust all of it. You can put the massage function on, which I can tell you right now, while reviewing the car, is a lot of fun. Ambient lighting, let's see if they have any funny colors. Different colors, they got lilac. Lilac, okay, cool. Well, of course, I forgot to pop it in reverse to show you the camera system. So you can see this has that same 360-degree camera system. So you have a bunch of different angles on the Navigator. So it's really easy to park this in general, especially since it's such a large vehicle. Here's another button for that camera system that you can press to turn that on. You've got your vents right here. And then this is your gear selector. So it's all these buttons right here: park, reverse, neutral, and drive. Analog controls for the radio, analog controls for the climate. Like I said, it's a tri-zone climate, so 2 climates up front and then a climate in the rear. Heated and cooled seats for the front. Now I've got some storage cubbies here, so you can see that you can open these up, and you've got cup holders over here. This is like kind of like your charging area, so you've got wireless charging right here for your phone, and you've got a couple USB ports right there. And then you can see you've got your drive mode selectors. You can kind of close it up to make it all clean, but drive mode selector right here. Auto stop start, your parking sensors, parallel and parking assistance, auto hold, parking brake, and then, like I said, drive modes. And these are the best thing ever. I love Lincoln drive modes because you can see that you've got the names for them, and then also the description as well on all these different drive modes. Kind of funny in general. Confident and secure. That is snow climb. Oh, it's trying to shift into 4-wheel low. Gotta get it back to normal, guys. Oh, we've got these little center console things, which you look at this and you think, oh, well, these pull up separately. No, it's just one giant thing with 2 separate armrests. But anyways, all lined with felt in here. Tons of storage space. You can see they've got a little CD player right there. And then coming over here, beautiful wood trim at the top. You got leather stitching here, leather, all that kind of stuff. Big glove box, again, lined with felt, and it's got like little shelving in it, so tons of storage space right there. But I just love how they have this trim line that goes across, and then they have that kind of goes across because it comes through here behind the touchscreen. So just the lines that they do across the interior look very, very nice. Up top here, we've got universal garage door openers, and the headliner, by the way, is a little bit softer here on the Navigator. You can see that you've got the little mirror here with your sunglass holder. And then you've got all of your light controls for the full panoramic sunroof that is also in the Navigator. Now that we are done going over the interior here on the Navigator, let's head back outside and compare it with that bad boy. Of course, I forgot to mention trailer brake controls and the trailer backup. My bad. So let's talk about pricing quickly. So the Navigator stickers for about $93,000 before any type of market adjustment. Expedition about $80,000 before any type of market adjustment. So really, I know that this one's a max, so these aren't completely comparable. So if you took away the max, then this one would be even a little bit less. So I think roughly the exact price difference, if this wasn't a max, would be closer to like 15 grand instead of the 13 grand that it is. Now with that in mind, I know that 13 grand is quite a bit of money, but I feel like obviously getting the more premium brand, and I mean, you guys saw the interior. I love like the whole interior of the Lincoln, and for me personally, I prefer the styling of the Lincoln. It looks really good in certain colors. So you can see like on this red color, it looks super, super luxurious, and maybe I should have used this vehicle for the video. But anyways, that looks so, so cool with that red color. You can see that that one's got little tan seats in there, but just the overall styling, I feel like compared to the Expedition, I feel like the Lincoln stylistically looks so much more premium, so much nicer. So for me, I feel like the Lincoln wins in this one overall. It's just, even though it is more expensive, I feel like it is worth the extra money. That all being said, I want you guys to let me know what you think on that one, which vehicle you think wins. But as always, I really appreciate all of you for watching. If you're stopping for the first time, please subscribe, comment down below what you thought. And again, please check out Larry H. Miller Ford Lincoln in Provo. Their inventory is going to be in the link below if you're in the market for a Ford or a Lincoln.